In the heart of Indonesia, on the island of Java, lies one of the most mysterious wonders in the world. It is neither a monument to the glory of kings, nor a temple where gods were once worshipped or appeased. There is no altar, no sanctuary, but there is wisdom and beauty, architectural genius and spiritual nourishment. It is Borobudur, a Buddhist shrine depicting the path to enlightenment, carved in a mountain of stone. Borobudur is, in truth, a gigantic book, carved in 3 dimensions, a book of stone pictures created for a people who could not read. The carvings, displayed in a series of ascending galleries, form a path to wisdom and enlightenment. And like the sacred texts of other faiths, Borobudur contains many chapters and stories full of mysteries and meaning, meditations and morals. The building of Borobudur, which took 70 years, started around 760 AD. The more than 1 million stones in the monument were quarried from the beds of the nearby Progo and Elo rivers. The stones were fitted together precisely, without the use of mortar, a feat of architecture and engineering not unlike the building of the Egyptian pyramids. Skilled craftsmen may have carved the stones with iron tools similar to those still used today. In truth, we know little of the lives of the people who created Borobudur, but a few hints come from the carved stones themselves. The people were apparently prosperous farmers. The fertile land, which has changed little through the centuries, provided them with a rich bounty. Less than 200 years after construction was completed, the civilization that built Borobudur vanished abruptly. Later records refer to some great calamity, perhaps an earthquake or massive volcanic eruption. The verdant jungle quickly reclaimed Borobudur, hiding its splendor for the next 1,000 years. It was rediscovered by a Dutch engineer in 1814. 200 men spent 6 weeks hacking away the growth that covered the mountain. When re-exposed to the elements, the sanctuary soon began to deteriorate. Several fruitless attempts were made to restore and protect it during the next 150 years. Finally, in 1973, the Indonesian government sponsored a successful restoration that took 10 years and cost $25 million, preserving Borobudur for generations to come. Today, Borobudur remains one of the most important Buddhist sites in all of Asia. Buddhism is the philosophy and way of life taught by Prince Gautama Siddhartha, born in India around 620 BC. He preached the cardinal virtues of morality, patience, industry, meditation, and wisdom in order to achieve enlightenment, and with enlightenment, freedom from suffering. Each year in June, thousands of Buddhists come here from all over Java and the surrounding islands to celebrate Waisak, a ceremony commemorating the birth and death of Buddha. On the night of the full moon, they join in the intonation of Mass prayers. The architecture of Borobudur mirrors the Buddhist path to wisdom and enlightenment. From a distance, the profile of Borobudur looks like a monumental stupa, a holy burial vault containing the remains of one who has attained enlightenment. A stupa is a sacred shape in Buddhism, not unlike the cross in Christianity. Seen from above, Borobudur resembles ancient sacred patterns called mandalas. They were designed as objects of meditation, tools to reach enlightenment. Significantly, one cannot see the top of Borobudur from its base, just as one cannot perceive the end of a spiritual journey upon taking the first step. A pilgrim coming to Borobudur enters through the eastern door and begins reading or studying the carvings. The corridors of the monument are the path to enlightenment. Every wall is covered with complex carvings, each carving a page in a book of wisdom. The first book depicts worldly passions and desires. It is peopled by kings, princes, villains and demons, ogres and nymphs. The second book tells the story of the life of the Buddha. Each chapter in the Buddha's story has a moral. As the pilgrim walks these corridors, he learns to discern between good and evil. The third book is about the travels of Sudana, a young man in search of wisdom and enlightenment, perhaps a representative of all pilgrims who would know the way of the Buddha. The Buddha figures ensconced on the balustrades are like the teachers sought out by Sudana. Peaceful, contemplative, with only subtle changes in their hand gestures to differentiate them. The Buddhas embody the elusive, inner-directed focus that is central to Buddhist philosophy. When the pilgrim has absorbed the teaching and wisdom of Borobudur, he passes through the final gate. moving from the confining corridors of the galleries into an open space at the top of the sacred mountain, as though leaving a world of limitations and entering one of infinite possibilities. Subtle, profound, and provocative both in its multiple meanings and in its simplicity, Borobudur speaks to us from the silent depths of time. For both the devout and the curious, this is undeniably a spiritual place, a place of wisdom and mystery, a place to contemplate the universe that exists within each human being.